Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. This is Suresh here. So, can any one of you confirm whether you can hear me clearly or is there any noise? So, you can ping in chat. So, Abhishekta, Hemant, Priyanka, any of you, please confirm whether you can hear me clearly or not. Or is there a noise? Yeah, it's clear, right? Fantastic. So, great. Thanks, Priyanka. So, let's start this session. So, let me share my screen. So hopefully you have practiced the previous session what we have discussed. So we have covered the basics of the JavaScript, like how to create a HTML page, how to use the script tag, how to recreate few variables, how to use alert and those things, how to use the operators, how to sum two numbers or how to concatenate. So these things we have discussed. So in today's session, let me share my screen first. Great. So I'm sharing my screen. Um, can you see my screen now? Mm, please confirm. So whether you can see my screen or not. Feel free to drop a text. Fantastic. Thank you. So there are three important concepts in the JavaScript. Forget about the JavaScript in any programming language. One is the functions. In other programming language, the same functions are called as methods and objects and events. So we are going to cover these three things, these three important topics, and we are going to wind it up. So let's start. So how to create a function? So for that, till now we have used a single web page. We directly created the web page, that means HTML page on the desktop. So instead of that, let's create a proper folder for the project as we are going to work with the projects. So let me open File Explorer. So let me minimize the chart. So in F drive, I have a projects folder. In that, I am going to create a new folder. Let me name it as JavaScript Advanced Class. Right. So I have this folder. So this is my project directory. Right. So now I don't want to work with the notepad anymore because it's not flexible. When you're working with the large files, you don't get all the options. So to work clearly, so let me open this with Visual Studio Code. In case you don't have any code editor, I recommend you to download Visual Studio Code. It's free, it's open source, it's fast. So you can just Google Visual Studio Code and you can go there. So it's very lightweight. All the additional functionality you will get it as extensions. So it's by default it will be like 40 MB or 50 MB, a very lightweight application to work with any programming language. You can work with the Python. Here you can see you can work with the Python, C, C++, or you can work with the JavaScript. You can work with the C#, any programming language. Based on the programming language you are using, the framework you are using, it's going to provide few extensions. Here if you see in the marketplace there are extensions. Visual Studio Code itself will recommend you the extensions by recognizing the type of files are there in your project. So here you can click on the download and you can download. So I already have the Visual Studio Code. So let me fire it up. So here Visual Studio Code, I'm opening it. Right. So now I need to go to my work directory. So what is the root path we have taken? What is the root folder? In F drive, projects, JavaScript advanced class. So let me open it. So open folder. So F drive, projects, click on JavaScript advanced class. Great. So this is a professional way of working. So we worked on the notepad previously, but generally that's not how we work. So we take our project, the entire project, into a single root directory. All the files will be there in this root directory. Now I need to create an HTML file. Here if you see, there is an icon and there is a tooltip, new file. Click on that. Here let's create index.html. So you need to give extension. Great. See, now I have created an index.html file inside this folder. So if any one of you wants to continue with me parallelly, I'm giving you 1 minute time. You can download. So do you want to continue? Or else I'll drop the link. So you can download it. So let me drop it in the chat. So right, copy this to your notepad. So you can just download it from that. You can get the direct link here. Right. So let me go back to Visual Studio Code. Let me close another window. Great. Now, what is the basic skeleton? See, this is the advantage of using IDE. That means integrated development environment like Visual Studio Code, or Atom, or Sublime. There are hundreds of IDEs. The advantage is, even you don't need to complete your sentence, you'll get these autocomplete. So I don't need to. It saves a lot of time, because to write HTML I don't need to fulfill it. I don't need to completely phrase it like this, right? So in HTML I have two important elements. What are them? One is the head and another one is the body. Great. So let's write in standard H1. Hello everyone. Save it. So I'm just using Ctrl S, or you can save it here. File, save. Right. Now I want to view this. I want to view this in a browser. So right click here. So here you can see reveal in File Explorer. Here it is. It will, from File Explorer, it will open this path. Double click on it. Double tap. So this is the HTML file we have created. Now if I make the changes, so suppose here I am. So hello everyone. I made changes to the HTML file. So how to see the changed source code? How it will be reflected? Again, you need to reload it, right? Even you can avoid this with this Visual Studio Code. So there are extensions here. Where are the extensions? Here it is. The next tab. So here you can see live server. See, live server. So it's an extension for Visual Studio Code, right? So you can install this. It's installing. This extension is installing. Right, it's installed. Now right click here and see, there is an option, open with live server. Click on this. Now this file is going to run with live server extension, allow access. So do you know the beauty of this? So the biggest advantage is, for suppose if I make change 3. Now if instantly when you hit on save, so there will be dot when the file is not saved. It will go when you save this. Instantly when you save it, you don't need to refresh it. Automatically it will be refreshed. So your browser window and your HTML file, the project file, is going to be with sync. Again, if I make change 4 also, let me hit Ctrl S, instantly the change will be reflected. That's the beauty. That's why I install the live server, right? So any doubts till now? So this is a basic setup of Visual Studio Code. Now let's go back. Now what I want to do is, let me open a Paint. Now I want to achieve, right? So I need one text box here. I need another text box. So this is number 1. This is number 2. Now I need a button. So let me take a button. So yeah. Now I want to design a web page like this. So there should be 2 text boxes and there should be one button. Maybe user might enter 5 here, user might enter 6 here, right? Then after entering, if he clicks on this add button, so it should summarize this 5 and 6. So what is the result? 11 should be displayed as an alert. This is my functionality. This is what I want to program. This is what I want to code. This screen is there, right? With a black and white screen with the proper prototype, how it should look like. This is called a wireframe. This is what you will get from the BAT. And with this wireframe, you need to design an HTML page, you need to write a JavaScript code, and you need to execute this. So let's write that. So to execute this kind of functionality, we use JavaScript functions. Let's see, first design. First let's design the HTML page for this. How to design? For that, let me delete this h1, we don't need this. So what is a number 1? So enter number 1. Let's put it in the span tag. Number 1, and I need an input type equal to number, and let me give an ID. So ID equal to num1, and let me put a break tag. So the next sentence will come in a new line. Let me copy this, enter number 2. Let me write a full sentence. Number 2, number 1. So text boxes have come or not? Let me hit Ctrl S. Instantly it should be reflected. See, enter number 1, enter number 2. What else we need? We need a button in a new line. So let's put a button type equal to button, or input type equal button, both are same. We can use any of it. Let's use input only. Input type equal to button and value equal to add. That's it. See, we have a 2 spans, 2 text boxes, and a button, like what we have designed in a MS Paint. Right? Now I need to write the functionality. Are you getting? So how to write the functionality? I need that interactivity. So it's an operational code, right? It's not a design code. So I need to write it in a script. Okay. So how to write that? First, I need a script tag to write the JavaScript code. So let's see whether the script is working or not first. So alert, let me write hello. Let me hit Ctrl S. Instantly alert has come. That means script is running. In this, I need to write a function where I should add these both numbers. When I click on this button, I need to add these two numbers. That's what I want to write. For that, I need to write a function. Any function, if you want to write, you should use a function keyword. If you want to declare a variable, use a var keyword. If you want to write a function, use function keyword. Function space name of the function. My name of the function is add. Great. So function add. Right. Now in this function, let's write code to summarize. What I need? I need to find out the value user entered. How do I get it? I'll get it by document object. Document has a property get element by id. Can you see how good it is? In Notepad you will not get this intelligence of all the methods which are available, but here you're getting them. Get element by id of C. Here you need to enter the element id. It's prompting. What else is there? So what is the element id? This is the element id number 1. So let's in single quotes give that id, right? Dot, there is a property in a text. Okay, so this value, let's take it to the variable. So let's use var number 1 equal to this. So let me put an alert and see whether number 1 is coming or not. So num1. Okay, and now I saved it. I did press the Ctrl S. Now see, refresh. I mean, you don't need to refresh actually. Let me enter 5. You'll get nothing because you wrote the function, but you didn't call it anywhere. You just wrote a function. A function is like a reusable piece of code. It will be executed when you call it somewhere. You have to call it. Where do you have to call it? So you have to call it like this. Like this you can call. Give me a second. So right now let me comment this and let me write alert. Add function is called. By default, this piece of code, let me delete this line, will not be executed. It will be executed only when you call that. How to call that? You just need to call that function like this. That means you're calling this, you're executing this piece of code here. So when you click enter, you'll get here. For suppose you wanted to call it in for 3 times. First time, second time, third time. Now 3 times this piece of code will be executed. Let me save 1, 2, 3. 3 times it's going to call. Are you getting? Now I don't want to call it directly. I want to call this function when I click on this button. Okay, for that I have a function like, I mean an event like on click. So this event will be fired when you click. You can guess it, on click. That means when you click on this button, this event is going to be fired. So similarly, there are a lot of other events. So if you want to fire something, some function on, it will start with on abort when aborted, on blur when it is blurred. So on click, on change will be there for select, for drop downs. Like that, there are different events. Right now, our interest is on click. Click on click. So when I'm clicking on it, I want to call this function add. Right? That's it. I saved it. Now this add function has nothing but a simple alert statement, right? I'm saving it. I'm going back. When I click on add, see, this function is doing 5. When I click again it's getting 5. Are you getting? So now we know how to call a function, but this is not giving the exact output. This is not what we expected. This is not the functionality we are aiming for. So we want to capture the two values the user entered and we need to sum them. So let's do that. For that, let me remove the alert. Let me keep it, and here let me uncomment this. So here we are getting document dot get element by id of number 1. Number 1 is nothing but this input, and the text, we are capturing the text user entered. So let me see whether we are retrieving it or not. We are able to retrieve or not. So instead of a hard coded text, here let me write number 1. Let me save it. I press Ctrl S. Now let me go back. Let me enter 10 here, and let me click on add. The value didn't come. No, not in the text. There is a value property. You need to use that. Let me save it and let me enter it again. Now see, the 5 has come. Let me enter 20. Let me click on add. See, the 20 has come. Are you getting my point? Now how to capture number 2? So for this ID should be number 2. So how to capture this value? Can anybody suggest? Can anybody send in a ping? Any idea? Now here with the num1 get document dot get element by id of number 1. The ID of the first text box dot value is giving me the value entered in the first text box. I want the value which is entered in the second text box. How to get it? Simple change I need to do here. What it is? So let me take it in the number 2 variable. Any guess? Nothing, because ID is number 2 here. You just need to give number 2. That's it. Change ID of the second text box. Fantastic. Now I alert. Let me alert number 2 instead of number 2. I don't want to print number 1 because it's yielding the correct result. So let me put number 2. Let me save it. Go back and let me enter 25 in the second text box. Click on add. See, it's giving 25. Let me give 50. So now value 50 is getting outputted. Now we know how to capture the number 1. We know how to capture the number 2. Now I want a result of this. So let's put that. So let's write where result equal to number 1 plus number 2. Semicolon I'm putting. So here let's put result. So I'm capturing the value of number 1, getting the value of the first text box, here getting the value of the second text box, here adding both numbers, here displaying result in the alert box. That's what we're doing here. Now let's save this. Let's go back and let's enter 50, here 30, and click on add. So there's another observe. So there is 50, 30. It's not adding. What could be the reason? Can anyone guess? Any one of you? Why it is not adding? Why it is concatenating? The reason is, by default, this value will be taken as a string. So 50 is taken as a string, 30 is taken as a string like Suresh Curry, like that. It's printing a concatenated version. It doesn't know that they are numbers. You need to explicitly tell to the JavaScript compiler that these are the numbers. How to tell that? Just by adding plus symbol. So when you add plus symbol before the statement, this JavaScript compiler knows that these are the numbers, not the string. Now when you save it, now when you enter the values like 30 and 50, when you click on add, now this is getting added. Got it? Now I am going to give you the exact copy. This HTML file, paste it in Notepad. You don't need to download anything. So paste it in a simple Notepad. Like, let me do it. First, let me copy this and paste it in a chart. And for suppose, I can take a Notepad application and paste it here, the same code. I can save it as maybe desktop Srinath2 Srinath.html. Save. I save. Now a Srinath file should come. When I enter, the same file should work. So all of you can you copy that? Can you copy this content? Right click, select all, copy this and paste it in a Notepad and see whether it's working or not. So copy this. I'll give you a task, a simple task. Once you're done with, I'm giving you 2 minutes of time. Guys, please copy this into your local machine and execute. See whether it's working. You don't need Visual Studio. You don't need anything. Just copy this, paste it in a Notepad, save it as .html. That's it. It should work. Once you're done with this, ping me in chat. Please be quick. Please ping me if you get any errors. Anybody completed it? So if you complete it, we'll extend this example. Anyone watching this session from mobile? Yes. So Srinath, you're watching it from mobile? Or you completed? Okay, fine. So you can't do this. So anybody? So please tell me if you have any issues while copying. You can share your screen and I'll explain. So as this is basic, so Priyanka, if you are watching it from the laptop, so are you able to copy it? Abhishek, Swati, or Hemant, anyone can respond. Unless if you want me to proceed further, I'll proceed. If you want to do it later. Done. Hemant done. Fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, okay, fine, great. Hemant completed it. So good. Now let's extend this example. So now I have only add operation. I want subtract operation. I want multiplication. I want division. Everything. So simple thing. What I want, I'll take another button. So here I don't want to work here. I'll take it here, where it exactly here. So let me copy this button, and instead of add, let me name it as subtraction, and you can work in your local folders. Just add subtraction. Now along with the add function, let me copy this add function and create a new function, that is subtraction, sub. Okay, and what is the change I need to do? Instead of plus, I need to use minus. That's it. It's going to use the subtracted result. Here, instead of calling the add function, I need to call subtraction function. That's it. Now let me save this and let me see here. Yeah, there is a sub. Let me write 20. Let me write 10. Click on add. It's going to result. It's going to give the result of added result. Here it will subtract. 20 minus 10 equal to 10. Same with the multiplication and the division. So let me write copy two other functions, right? So here let me write multiplication MVL, division div. Here instead of minus, I need to write into. Here by. That's it. So let me copy two more buttons. Copy, paste it here, paste it here. Instead of sub, let me call multiplication function. Let me call division function. Let me save it and let me go back. I got all the four. I didn't change the text here, so let me change value, so the text will be changed. Multiply, divide, save it here. Add, sub, multiply, divide. So 5 into 5, 4. If I add, it is 9. If I divide, it is 1. If I multiply, it is 20. 5 into 4, 20. If I divide, 1.25. That's it. Simple. So we wrote four functions. We called we called it in by four different buttons. Anyone has any doubt till now? This is what's about the functions. Anyone has any doubts? We'll extend this example further. So let me send this code again to you. Right. So I'll keep it as it is. User entered anything, text box. What happened? What happens? So it will concatenate. So it will throw error basically. We are using plus. So let's do that. The first thing, because we are taking it as a number, because if you see input type equal number we are taking, so that's why even I can't even enter the other characters, only numbers is allowed. So let's change this number from text. Here also let me change from text. Let me save it. Beautiful question. So let me open inspect. It will throw an error. I'll write some random characters. See, nan. That means it's saying it's not a number. It's a data type. So what you enter when you convert a non-string, a non-number value with this plus symbol, it will say it's not a number. That's the error it will give. Getting? Is it out clear? Great. So this is about the function. So if it is clear, let's move to another type, that is objects. Now see. Now let me take another file. So I want to keep it as it is. So let me name it as index2.html. Now I'm in index.html. Let me copy basic skeleton. I'll remove all these functions and let me remove the code. So basic HTML skeleton I kept. Now for suppose you want to save the employee information in a variable. So employees generally will have employee ID. So for suppose if you want to save employee information, you have employee ID, you want employee name, employee contact, employee age. So these 4 parameters you want. You have maybe 3 employees. How you are going to save them? I need to save it as where employee name equal to, maybe let's name it as Suresh. Now I need where employee age equal to maybe 24. Let's write. And what are the other fields? Employee name, employee ID, where employee ID equal to 1. Assume. Now employee age is done. Employee contact equal to some random. I'm giving an email address. So now this is the information of one employee. I want 3 employees. What I need to do? So this is employee 1, and I need to copy again all the fields, and I need to paste it, and I need to write employee 2 name, employee 3 name, employee 2 age, employee 2 ID, employee 2 contact. If it is for employee 3, again here instead of employee 2, employee 3 name, employee 3 age, employee 3 ID, employee 3 contact. So let's change the data also. So he can be Ramesh, he can be Ganesh, like that. So see, the challenge here is we are not grouping. So these are independent variables, but actually what's happening? So this entire data is related to the employee. This is also related to the employee, but the only thing which is changing is the data. Again, this is again a data of another employee. So all are having a same skeleton, but we are not able to group them. We are not able to group them. That's the disadvantage of using variables. If you are having hundreds of variables, it's very difficult to identify. If it's difficult to observe, if it's difficult to code. So we need a way to group a similar properties. All the properties of employee, I should able to group it. That's what object does. Object is going to contain a properties of a similar object. Here employee is an object. All his properties will be there in the same location. How to work with an object? So here where employee equal to, open the flower brackets. Here it's going to have employee ID 1, employee name Suresh, comma, C, there are no semicolons, commas are there, and employee age maybe 24. Now employee contact, that's it. See the difference. Now all these properties are grouped together. Are you getting? So there is no confusion. For suppose we need another employee, we just need to rename here employee 2. That's it. You don't need to touch the property names. Maybe his name is, his ID is 2. Wait a second. His name is Ramesh and 26, and maybe Ramesh temp at gmail.com. Like this, we are only renaming the base variable name. So we are not changing the property names. How to access them? Okay, Priyanka, any doubt? Priyanka, did you raise your hand? Do you have any doubt? Can you ping? No, thank you. So yeah, now how to access these values? Here you can write alert of, if you want to access employee ID of an employee object. Here employee is an object, employee 2 is another object. If you want the ID of these, first employee object name employee dot property name employee ID. So this is called the object, it's called a property. So if you want to access this value, you will access like object name dot property name, enter semicolon, save it, and let's go back. So there is no alert. So we are using index.html. We need to go to index2.html. So right click here in index.html, open with the live server. See, 1 is the ID. If you want to access employee name property, employee dot employee name, save it. See, you're getting employee name. Maybe you want to access the employee name of employee 2 object. Here instead of employee, here specify employee 2. Save it. You should get the employee name of the employee 2 object. This is how you're going to use the objects. This is how you will construct the objects. This is how you retrieve the values. Okay. Any doubts in this? Anyone? No, fantastic. So great. Now we have 2 files. So I'm pasting this and I'm putting in the chart. If you want to try instantly, you can try this. So this is what it's all about, the functions, objects, So these are the different events you can play around with. So this is how an object will be created. This how, and there is one more thing. For suppose if you want to, it's called a dot notation to access the value. You don't need to use it. You can always use, instead of this, like this, square brackets, but single quotes, like this. Even you can access the values like this with dot notation or with the square brackets. Save it. It's going to retrieve the same value. So you can use the dot notation, or you can use the square bracket and this notation. Anything is fine. That's what it is. So I'm giving you 1 minute of time. Just tell me. So we'll move to the another topic. If you have any doubts in the functions or in objects, let me know. I'll answer them. Okay, fine. So this is about the basics of, the basic skeleton of the JavaScript, how it works. These are the important topics in the JavaScript. But JavaScript as a language, it's very huge. So go to the W3 schools, try to explore all the different options, and you'll get to know. When you deep dive into the topics, you'll get to know more about it, and more importantly, practice. Open Visual Studio Code. It will be easy for you because Notepad will be clumsy. It's difficult to format. In Visual Studio Code, it's going to give you the proper auto completion. So do this. So after JavaScript, very important topic is GitHub. Now I'll show you one project to you. For suppose I have, yeah, let me take this project. See, core Angular app. Let me open another project, or else let me directly open in a file explorer, F drive. So let me open projects. See how your real-time project, a basic real-time project, a basic one, how it look like. So this is one of my project. Let me open it. See, there are 4 to 5 folders. Again, this is a project directory. So inside controllers, there are 4 files. So there are entities, there is 1 file. There is helpers, there are 3 files. It's a dotted based application. Even in JavaScript, so this structure will be like this. See, almost like this entire project, my entire project has almost like 30 to 40 files. It's a very, very simple application. If the application is huge, if it is a real-time application, it's going to have 1,000 files, 2,000 files, sometimes 10,000 files. Now there will be a team working on it, so 30 people. So you don't code it individually, right? There will be 30 people, there will be 40 people who code, who work on your project. Now how to share the code? How to share? For suppose you make some changes, and on the same file, maybe you're making some changes on the index2.html, another developer wants to write another functionality in a same file. So how to share that? How to share the code? That's where GitHub or Git came from. So now we are going to discuss how Git works. See, in Git, basically, there's going to be one server. Now you will have a lot of clients. Maybe it's a machine of developer 1. right? So another developer will have another mission, that is developer 2, let's assume. Now another mission will have, so suppose it's a mission of developer 3. Now there is one server, every developer has their own machines. Now he makes changes and he'll send the code to the server. So he has index.html, index2.html, he made changes and he'll send those changes to the server. And developer 2 will take the latest version, he'll take the latest commits, and he works on that source code. And now even developer 3 will make some changes and he'll push it. Now developer 2 again will take changes. So there will be one centralized repository. Every developer will have the repositories on their own machines. These repositories will communicate with the server. That's how GitHub works. Let me show you. For suppose this is the project I have showed you. The same project is now it is there in my local machine. I uploaded same to my GitHub repository also. Let me open my github.com. So now this architecture is there, right? So the architecture what you are seeing it now, this is called Git. This is called GitHub. Git and GitHub are two different things. Git is an architecture, GitHub is a server. So this server is there, right? We are pushing code to some server. That space that we needed, that's what GitHub is offering. So it's letting us host our applications. Even you can host our applications, I can host my applications. So unless there will be 5 repositories, so 5 projects you can host it for free if it is a private repository, if you don't want others to see it, if it is your personal project. If it is an open source project like Bootstrap, can be seen by anyone, you're okay seeing it by anyone, then you can host unlimited number of repository in GitHub. Are you getting? So Git is an architecture, GitHub is a place where you can host your server. So this is offering us a free space to host our application. So let me sign in. So these are my credentials. If you don't have a GitHub account, you can create by going here. So let me sign in. See, so these are all the different projects I have. Are you getting? See, there is an OEDB reader. So this is what my project is, what I'm showing. This is my local repository. This is where I'm hosting it in the server. The same files will be there. Now, important. See, so I uploaded this file 4 months ago. Last month only I uploaded this file. This file I uploaded 8 days ago. Like this, you see, you'll get the complete stats. How many pull requests are there? How many? So you can see a history here. So see, so these are the different commits I did. So first version I uploaded here. I made some changes. Again I uploaded on April 22. I made some changes. Again I uploaded on July 2. I made few more changes, uploaded on July 4, like that. This is the complete history. For suppose there are some errors in this commit, I can revert it back to this. Are you getting? So how to do that? For this application, for this simple index.html, index2.html, I want to push it to the Git. So you can do this by clicking on here, source control. Okay, guys, you are with me? Or any doubts? If you want me to again tell it, again if you want me to again tell you, I'm okay with it. So are you able to understand it, or do you have any doubts? Are in the same page? You don't need to understand anything. You just need to create a GitHub account. That's it. And you need a Visual Studio Code. It will be easy. So you don't need to write any code, any commands. Go to GitHub account, github.com, create an account. That's it. Now when you go to in Visual Studio Code, when you go to this window, this option, there will be an initialize repository. You need to click on it. Click on that. Great. Now these are added to commits. These are staged. How GitHub works is, here developer one machine is there, right? So when you first you need to stage it. So in another location, so it will copy this code, this entire source code from the same machine into a stage. That means stage version. One second. Right. Now once you make changes, here once you add, see here you can stage all changes. When you click on that, these files will be copied. The index1.html, index2.html, assume I am a developer one, I am Suresh. These two files will be copied to here. Now from here we need to push it to the remote repository. So direct communication will not happen. First it will go to the stage and then it will communicate to the server. Now added, two files I have added to the stage. Now I can commit. So the first changes, right? Now I committed. Now I need to push. So add a remote repository, it's asking. So you need to add a remote repository. Click on add remote from GitHub. Hello. Continue, give access, give authorization, additional permissions. So authorize GitHub. Success. Open. Now, so these are my files. So right now I don't have any repository. So let me create a repository there. So let me go to GitHub. So let me go there. So repositories. Here I can create a new repository. See, there is a new option. Click on new. So let me name it as JavaScript class. This is the repository name. So let me make it a public repository so even you can see this. Click on create repository. Right. Now JavaScript class, this repository is created. Now go back to Visual Studio Code. So let me go back again. Yeah, see, JavaScript class. That means it's communicating with the GitHub and it's fetching all the repositories. Let me choose this. Let me click again. Add remote from GitHub. So let me choose the JavaScript. It should work. It has been chosen. It should be pushed by now. Let's see whether the changes are reflected or not. Not yet. The code is not yet came. Let me push. Cancel. Push to add a new remote. Let me local push to class.git. Let me do one thing. So there is some issue which just came. So let me click go there. Let me delete. Revealing file explorer. Let me delete this entire file. So the entire git configuration will be deleted. Now let me initialize again. So let me click on extensions. Click on publish to git repo, JavaScript, advanced class. Okay. Give it some time. Great. So with this name, JavaScript advanced class repository is created. So let me go back, and if you let me go back. Now see, with this name, got it. So where are the repositories? Go to repositories. So see, JavaScript advanced class updated 21 seconds ago. If you go there, see index.html, index2.html. Let me open index.html. You should see the entire code. So it's by default it's a private repository. Let me change the settings and make it public. So even you can where it is. So there will be manage access, manage, change visibility. Let me make it as a private repository. Let me type this. Understand. Great. Now let me send you the link. Once push to GitHub server index.html running, possible, it's possible. Right. Now open that. Even you can open that link. You should see index.html, index2.html. Anyone can open it, even it opens in a mobile. Now, for suppose I have some changes to do. Now I make some changes. Index2.html. Let me open index.html. So let me write. This is the comment added in the second version. Let me save this, and now you can see there is one change I did. It will showing from the previous version. I made one change. I need to add it. I need to commit it. Yes. So version 2 I committed. Now I want to push it. I'll just click on push. So this change will be pushed to the GitHub. It's taking time. Yes, it's pushed. Now if you go back, now if you refresh, see version 2. When you click on that, see the comment which is added is reflected here. Right? Now you can see the history also. So this is the first version, this is the second version. So when you're working on a project, on a decent sized project, when you want to track the changes, who made the changes, who made the other changes, if it is breaking, if you want to revert it back, this is how you're going to use it. So it's so simple. If you're using a Visual Studio Code, you can go there. So I'll show you the options from beginning again. You can go back. So by default, for suppose if you don't want the GitHub configuration, you can delete this project. You can delete this .git folder. The entire GitHub configuration will be deleted. Okay. Once you delete it, so again you will get an option to publish to Git repository, publish to GitHub. So it will ask for your user credentials. You will give them. That's it. It's simple. You will click on here. First you will commit them, and then you will push them. Two things basically. One is commit. Step 1, create a GitHub account. Step 2, by going here, source control, click on publish to GitHub repository. Click 3 step. So that's it. When you do this, by default changes will be published. Now from the second time, when you make changes to the file, for suppose added another comment, when you save it, automatically here on the left side you can see there is one change. You'll click on it, you'll click on commit. So all changes will be committed. Yes, you'll give the name. I'll give version 3 as a commit change. That's it. So I committed now. Here I'll click on push. So step 3 is here, make changes, commit, push. That's it. Now these will be reflected in your GitHub account. Let me open again. See, apart from version 1, version 3 also came. You can check the code. A new code will be visible. So you can see the commit message here. See, a new comment, another comment. A new comment is added. This is how you work with the GitHub. Any doubts? Yeah, Srinath, you can ask. Ping me in short if you are not able to talk. Nothing. Okay. Anyone? So this is the last session. I'll not have sessions from the tomorrow. So if you have any doubts in the JavaScript or GitHub, you can ask. I know it's very difficult to cover the entire JavaScript in 2 days. Whatever is possible, I covered. So you can go to W3 schools and you can practice, or you can see various sessions. Anyone having any doubts, please feel free to ask. Okay, that's it in that case. So that's it we covered. I'll share you the PowerPoint presentation. Hope you learned something with these 2 sessions. And in case you have any doubts while accessing the GitHub, I'll be available tomorrow. I'll be available this week. So again, I'm dropping my mobile number. Please save it and ask your doubts here. It's my mobile number and this is my email ID. Drop an email or drop a WhatsApp text, or you can call me directly. I'm free. So yeah, any doubts, please feel free to call. So thanks for being patient and thanks for being fantastic audience. Yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you so much. So we'll get a recorded session by Raju. That's it. Okay, bye then. We can wind up the call. We can leave the session. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Soti. Okay, thank you, Srinath. Yeah. Bye all.